Like always attracts like, okay? Millionaires tend to hang around with millionaires. People who are broke tend to hang around with people who are broke. People who are financially free tend to hang around with people who are financially free. In fact, it gets even more superficial. People who are verified on Instagram, if you go and check, tend to follow people who are verified on Instagram. Hey guys, we recently made a video where I was sharing with you guys secrets from millionaires for how to achieve financial freedom fast. Okay, that video proved to be popular. Many people appreciated me sharing stuff that you might not ordinarily see from WhatsApp messages. And after that, I got a DM from somebody. Someone messaged me and said, "Hey Ken, I've just seen your recent YouTube video asking millionaires their advice. Very good video. My question for you is, where did you meet these millionaires? As I feel like having good people around you in your circle is a great way to self-improvement, but I feel like I currently don't know any of these types of people. Personally, it'd be great to get your feedback, keep up the good work, and so on." And as soon as I heard that, I thought, do you know what? That is an excellent question. So I posted it in our communities tab over here on YouTube, and I asked you guys, drop me at least 100 gems if you would like to see me make a video on this topic. And of course, you guys absolutely delivered. So many of you showed up in our communities tab and said, "Hey, I definitely want to see this video made." So hey, this is the video and I'm here to make it for you guys. Now, it's worth mentioning that there are obviously way more important things going on in the world right now. But you know what? I thought this is an important video to make nonetheless, because I think hanging around millionaires is not really just so you can say, "Hey, I've got millionaire friends, check me out." It's more so that you can really understand the way that people who have become millionaires think, the way in which they solve problems and the way in which they build wealth over time. Now, when I talk about millionaires, I'm really referring to self-made millionaires. Because obviously, you can just inherit money and yay, you're a millionaire. But that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about people who have actually started with nothing, from really humble beginnings, who have actually built their wealth over time. Hey, look, although I'm sharing this video today on where to meet millionaires, self-made millionaires and that sort of stuff, please don't prioritize just meeting millionaires as the thing you need to focus on. I'm going to tell you, this is what this video is about. Watch it to the end because there's some really important conclusions I'll be making. But one thing I'm going to tell you up front is that what really matters in life is the quality of the relationships you build with people, not necessarily getting to know them because they are millionaires. Okay, if you really enjoyed today's video, give me a signal by hitting that like button right now. Show me that signal that you'd love for me to make these sorts of videos. And don't forget to hit that notifications bell so you get notified when we publish our videos, which typically happens twice a week. All right, people, let's jump straight in. Okay, so the very first place to meet self-made millionaires is at private members clubs, okay? So recently, I got invited to do a talk about financial freedom in this particular club called the Homegrown Club in Tottenham Court Road in London. Now, I'm not promoting them. I'm not like being paid or anything. I'm just mentioning it because I need to just explain the context. So I got invited to do this talk by a charity that I work with, and I sow my time in freely every quarter and do courses and so on. I teach for free. So anyway, they invited me to come and teach on financial freedom, and it was really nice getting showing up and that sort of stuff. And there were a bunch of people watching me as I was delivering my talk and sharing my story. And when I finished, a guy came up to me, and this is what's really unique about these environments. A guy came up to me and he connected with me via my story, and we got chatting. And this guy, turns out, was an immigrant to the UK. He'd been living somewhere in the Caribbean and then moved to France and then moved to the UK and started over. But what was really interesting was the way in which he had built wealth over the last 5 years. Basically, in summary, in the last 3 to 5 years, he had gone from not having a property at all to ending up with 5 different properties, of which one of them is the house he lives in with his wife and children. It was very, very interesting just hearing how he went about doing it, the creativity that went into doing it, doing things like SAS schemes, combining his pensions with his wife, investing via, through his pension and that sort of stuff. But it's also interesting just hearing how he explored other ways of making money through actually understanding blockchain technology and not necessarily trading crypto or anything like that, but actually exploring ways in which he could monetize the actual technology itself. And I thought I'd just share that background because, it's very interesting that if you're just walking on the street, you'd never ever bump into people like that who are doing quite phenomenal things, because you just don't. Everyone's just going about their own businesses. But the thing about these private members clubs, which you typically have to pay to get into, in fact, I'm quite sure you definitely have to pay to get into them. I just got invited as a speaker. The thing about them is that in those spaces, you will find the types of people who are thinking upside. So this particular club, for example, is for people who are either investors or entrepreneurs. So you can already see that there's an expectation of the type of person that you might expect in such an environment. So if you are interested in a private members club, maybe in a particular city, just type into Google private members club and then the name of your city, for example, or the part of your city that you live in specifically. And you might be able to find something that you might want to go and check out. All right, so the next one is online-based membership communities. So thanks to the internet, there are so many people who are creating really, really powerful online-based membership communities. So these communities, the reason I really love them is that they attract either self-made millionaires already or people who will become self-made millionaires. They're really, really into it, particularly if you can find an online-based membership community that also do offline-based activities like meetups and that sort of stuff, so that you can actually genuinely get to know people and, build a relationship over time, okay? Now, there are so many of these things online. The thing I'd highly recommend is look at the people you're following, who you actually love, the people who you actually truly connect with and think, do you know what, I love them because I love their values, or I love the way they operate, I want to be in the same space as them, that sort of stuff. Look for who those people are and actually try and make an inquiry, because quite a lot of these people have membership communities that you can join. Like Mary and I, my wife and I, are in other people's membership communities because we just want to be there. We want to be in that space where we are learning, we're innovative, we're building true relationships with the people who are doing quite similar things to what we are doing. You want to definitely make sure you are getting into those environments where you will feel like you're hanging around with people with a similar mindset. Now, I should mention, we run our own community at Financial Joy Academy. It's completely up to you. I'm not saying to go and join that community. No, please go and join anyone you want with whoever you like, or somebody who you really admire, provided it's something that you feel will add a lot of value to your own life. All right, so the next one is quality business schools offering courses like executive MBAs, okay? I'm giving this as one place because it's something that I went through myself, okay? Now, in that video that I talked about before, the examples I gave, one of the friends who I mentioned in that video actually is somebody who I met in this particular environment. So I did an executive MBA in 2014 and I finished in 2016, and it was at the University of Cambridge Judge Business School, okay? So I went there, I did it, I had fun, but let's talk about the details, because I think the details matter. Now, background. I didn't go there because I wanted to go and meet millionaires and what have you. I didn't know who I was going to meet. But what I wanted understandings. I didn't want, you get knowledge. Knowledge is a given. I wanted understandings. I wanted to go beyond knowledge and get understanding. But I wanted lifetime networks, which is why I chose that particular university and that business school and that sort of stuff. And the ticket for me doing that, the price point for me doing that was around £70,000. 70. So a lot of money. You're probably thinking, what the? How? Why? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I'll tell you how it actually happened because I think it matters. So about 70K, 60 something K, and obviously you have expenses and what have you, travel. So let's call it 70K. So I got half, about 30K of it funded by an employer that I did a pitch to and blah, blah, blah. You got 30K. Got about 10K from writing an essay, so therefore got a bursary, got another 10K thereabouts from my parents who were like, do you know what, we want to support you, blah, blah, blah. And the rest of it was from my own money. Basically, altogether about 70K. And it was a life-changing experience, right? And the return on investment for me has been incredible. So for example, obviously I've had so many things happen on the back of being in such an environment, like getting a chief financial officer job. Like, there's so many things I can't even begin to count. I'll be here till tomorrow. But I wanted to highlight a few things from the types of people I saw in that environment. There's one particular guy, in fact, I'm going to try and make their names up just so I'm not mentioning real people's names. So one particular guy who was like the global, kind of like a really senior chief financial officer for a global brand, basically. And he was in my class, right? And one thing I learned from him, this is why it's so important to hang around with people who are on a whole different level. One thing I learned from him was the importance of trying to double your income every 3 years. And I thought, this guy, nah, that's ridiculous. But what's very interesting is you never actually believe something until you've heard it from somebody, and the idea, the seed has been sown into your mind. And as soon as that seed got sown in my mind, this was back in 2014, I just knew, you know what? This actually makes sense. There's really no reason why, if I wanted to achieve that I wouldn't be able to do it. And I did. I went ahead and did it and did it and did it, and that carried on happening. That was one thing. Another lesson I learned from being in such an environment like that was another guy. In fact, I mentioned him in the previous video, and I'm not going to mention his name or the business he runs, but essentially, you can probably guess what it is. It's a business known as a unicorn. It's worth over $1 billion, but in the UK, they supply food like boxes, like healthy, like a basket, like a box. You use that to cook your own meals according to recipes. I'm not going to mention the name of the company, but some of you can probably guess who I'm talking about. Good friend of mine, but the thing I've learned from him is this idea of continually evolving, focusing on your knowledge, because knowledge has infinite power, always building your knowledge and always aiming a lot higher, okay? So having people like that around you really, really changes your world. In fact, another girl, actually a lady who I remember, also in my cohort in a class at the time, was running a business, a multi-million pound or dollar business, even within the cohort, and was there because she wanted to learn and kind of mingle and get to know other people and improve her own personal development. These are people at the C level already. The reason this is important, or in senior management, is those people are either leaders already in companies where they work or in companies that they actually own, and they'll carry on to be leaders in 5 years, 10 years down the line. In fact, that guy I mentioned who runs a unicorn right now, last I heard, he'd raised over $200 million of funding for his business, right? And I've got, he's a friend, obviously, you chat on WhatsApp and that sort of stuff. But the key thing worth mentioning was that I didn't go in there wanting to go and build friendships. These people, their lives didn't turn out to be like that, but they had the ingredients to become those people who'd become self-made down the line. The next one is good quality Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups. Now, this one, I've got a slight question mark over. Okay, so I give some examples, right? So on Facebook, you can go and search for things like, financial independence groups or financial freedom groups and things like that. People share and they ask questions and that sort of stuff, and that's great. But the thing I've noticed with those groups is that you don't actually get to know people intimately. That's the only difference. You hear of their situations. You obviously know that a lot of them are wealthy. A lot of them have had good experiences. Some of them are just starting out and that sort of stuff. But there's a good mix of people. But you don't have that intimacy. That's the only thing I would say. But these Facebook groups, for example, you don't have to pay for. You just, you get accepted into the group and then you can start contributing. But there is a stark difference between groups that you have to pay for and groups that you don't have to pay for in terms of the quality that you get. In fact, one thing I hope you take out of this video, in fact, if there's anything you take out, it's this. And listen, here it goes. It's this. It's that those who pay attention. And this is the truth. In anything you do in life, if you pay for something, you typically want a return on investment. So if you look at the various examples I've mentioned so far, most of them are actually environments where you have to pay. There's a barrier to entry for you to be able to get into those environments. And if you adopt the mindset of becoming a payer, and this is a really strong mindset, because a lot of people just want free. And really, if I'm honest, really being frank with you, it's not just about wanting free things. It's about really thinking, well, actually, what do I need for my personal situation that will take me to that next level? And oftentimes it involves paying, involves paying. And paying is a good thing, provided you've got that ROI mindset. I'm in WhatsApp groups as well. So I'm in one in particular that I really, really like. It's a group called Faithful Founders. It's a WhatsApp group, Christian entrepreneurs, group of guys and ladies who are essentially running some of the companies that you might be aware about publicly. But what's really nice about it is that it's an environment is for entrepreneurs, and we're all kind of there to support each other on our faith journey as well as on our business journeys. And everyone there is, on that pathway towards becoming, multi-millionaires down the line, but they're on that journey themselves. So again, a group like that's very interesting. And I got into that group because I got invited. But the key thing to notice is that the invitation I got to get into that group came on the back of a high quality relationship. So again, I keep drumming this point down the line for you to really take this away, that it's not really just about finding an environment where you've got self-made millionaires. It's really about the quality of relationships that you build, which then leads you to open so many other doors. All right, guys. Number 5 is masterminds and inner circles. Right. Now, if you don't know what these are, let me explain, because it's, it can sound a bit kind of weird, but I want to explain what I'm talking about. So a mastermind is essentially a group of people who come together around a common interest. So it could be like, for example, I'm in a mastermind. It's a group of online-based entrepreneurs. Okay, so these are people who are based mainly in the US. In my case, for example, you could be in anyone, you can be the UK, wherever you are in the world, but you're in this group basically. And everyone is in there to kind of help each other. And the reason I mention this, again, I got into this group, this particular mastermind, out of a high quality relationship. I'd gotten to know a creator a few years ago online. I just loved what she did. I messaged her and just said, hey, really love what you're doing. We seem to have quite a lot in common, really love what you're doing. And then gradually, you keep in touch, you message on Instagram and, that sort of stuff. You keep really sowing into that relationship. This is so important, sowing into relationship. And time passes, a year passes, 2 years passes. And she says, you know what? We've got a space, because this mastermind is invite only. We've got a spot in the mastermind after checking with, the other members, She suggested that my name be put into the hat, and I got invited to join this mastermind. And I can tell you, it has been the most life-changing thing that I've done when it comes to running the Humble Penny and that sort of running our academy at Financial Academy. Just having that space where you're with other people who are clearly trailblazers. They're definitely worth 7 figures and more to 7 figures. In fact, a lot of them share their revenues and that sort of stuff. But the beauty is that you're in that communal space. It's a safe space. There's trust built, and you're kind of genuinely all helping each other. Focus on actually asking some of your friends. If you've got people who are, in entrepreneurs or people who are building wealth in various shapes, just ask them. Just say to them, hey, are you in a mastermind or an inner circle? I heard Ken and Humble Penny talk about it. It'd be good. And if you are in one of these things, it'd be great if, I could be invited to it. And then a bonus one I wanted to share is niche-based events, okay? So here I'm talking about things, and these are places, again, you meet self-made millionaires, things like property investing conferences, stock market investing conferences. I went to the Financial Times FT Weekend Festival. I was a speaker there last year. Really great environment to meet people who are just like completely different worlds to you. There's also there's specific investor ones, like the Master Investor Show, for example. Basically stuff like that, things that are centered around a particular niche. And clearly that people coming to those events are definitely well-to-do, like without a doubt. But remember, like I said, you're not really there just to kind of get to know them because they're millionaires. No. You're there to naturally be in the right environment. Because look, I'll tell you straight up, right? Like always attracts like, okay? Millionaires tend to hang around with millionaires. People who are broke tend to hang around with people who are broke. People who are financially free tend to hang around with people who are financially free. In fact, it gets even more superficial. People who are verified on Instagram, if you go and check, tend to follow people who are verified on Instagram. So I'm sharing this to say that if you're someone who at the moment is watching this video right now and would love to kind of elevate and change your environment, hang around with a different type of person, you really have to be quite a particular kind of individual to want to kind of move from maybe living, say paycheck to paycheck, to one day hanging around with people who are maybe running businesses as entrepreneurs or as investors and that sort of stuff. But it's entirely possible. This is the point I'm making. But the route to actually getting there is the desire to want to change your life. But actually, the thing that you put in to actually get yourself in those spaces is truly, my personal opinion, it's not just about money. It's about trying to build genuine relationships that actually then open you some doors. Alright people, I hope you found that super useful. I've tried my best to be as practical. I know some of you want things, like I had messages from people saying to me, can I have examples for faith-based millionaires or people, millionaires in Scotland and that sort of stuff. I've tried to give you the ideas. It's now for you to say, well, actually, I'm going to take what Ken has shared and take that and go and do something with it. That's really the point of me making this particular video. Again, reiterating two core points in this video. Number one is that those who pay attention, okay? Try and become a payer. It really will change your life personally. My personal opinion, I do. I get coached by people. I pay for people's programs. I'm in people's memberships. Basically, I'm in the environment where I get challenged and grow. So paying is a good thing, provided you've got the mindset right. And the second thing I want to mention is please, 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 don't ever prioritize money over relationships. This is such an important point. Relationships are worth infinitely more than money could ever be worth. So if you get it right by focusing first on the relationships, genuinely sowing into those relationships, nurturing them, not because you want something out of them, but sowing into them because you genuinely want a relationship to be successful. Out of that genuine relationship would then come open doors, opportunities, new ventures, like you get welcomed into environments that you could never ever imagine your imagination could ever perceive. Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video, sharing with you some of the places that I think you can meet some self-made millionaires. If you enjoyed today's video, as I said before, I'd really appreciate it if you please hit the subscribe button, and show some love. Share this video with one other person who you think will get value from the video that I've made today, okay? Don't forget to hit the like button as well, because that just helps, as I'm told, it helps to get our videos, promote it to other people so other people can watch it and that sort of stuff, okay? Thanks again for watching today's video, guys, and as ever, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Take care. See you in our next video. Bye for now.